What's up, everyone? I thought it would be cool to do a video and share what my fleet of helicopters was for the channel. I don't know if this will just be one video or several videos, because what I want to do is talk about, why I got each of these helis, and maybe, definitely share what my settings are for all of them. But just a quick kind of overview. This one is my oldest heli, current usable heli, and that's this Align 700E F3C. And before that, I'll probably try and edit a picture of it in. My very first heli was a Kyosho Concept 30, and that was way back when. And I also had an Align T-Rex 450 that I got just prior to getting this that heli. And but those are I crashed the 450 and the Kyosho. So anyways, this is my SAB Goblin Raw 700, and then of course my T-Rex 500. This is not it's not a Dominator. It was a T-Rex 500 XL, I think, or XT, sorry, because it is a torque tube. I just after my first crash with it, I had to replace the canopy. It's the only one I could find. And I, of course, if you watch the channel, you know that this is the little guy that I fly probably most often right now as I'm trying new things, and that's my OMP Hobby M2 V2. I don't know what my very first controller was for the Kyosho Concept 30. I don't even have it anymore, but this is my old controller for the 450 that I had, and the 700E here, F3C flybarred. I don't know if you noticed that, but it is a flybarred heli. And this is the Gen 1 Spectrum DX8. Most recently, when I got back into the hobby, I got this, which is a Futaba 16IZ. I always wanted a Futaba. Honestly, when I was younger, they were too expensive. I just couldn't afford it. So finally got the radio that I wanted. Anyways, so that's a quick overview of the fleet, and I will talk about each one individually. Again, maybe in this video, or I may break it up. We'll see. So I figured I'd start with my oldest heli, and I guess in a lot of ways is probably my favorite heli. And to talk about this, I think I got to give a little bit of history. I'll try and keep it brief, at least on how I got involved and with RC helicopters, and what's gotten me to this point. So I got started with RC helicopters when I was a teenager, probably about 15, 16. I was already into RC buggies and RC cars, but RC helicopters wasn't something, like I said, that I didn't get into till I was around 16. And my first RC heli, as I mentioned earlier, it was a Kyosho Concept 30. It was a nitro, and it really, was an awesome helicopter. I didn't have it for long, or I wasn't in the hobby for very long, I should say, because I flew that helicopter. I started with the training gear on that. I probably flew it about 5, 6, 7 times, and I had a crash and just didn't have the money to fix it. So that was literally the end of my RC heli venture into the RC heli hobby at that time. I probably spent more time doing setup flights than actually flying it, but it is what it is. So after that, probably about almost 10 years ago now, I got back into the hobby. And the reason I did was because I got the idea in my head of doing aerial video, and that was before there were any drones or anything. So I was actually working as a web developer, and the client that I was working with was potentially looking into some aerial video. So I thought, maybe it's something I would like to do. And that's the reason I ended up getting this bird. But when I did that, I also picked up, because obviously I didn't know how to fly an RC helicopter, I also picked up an Align 450, which I was going to use to learn to fly, and this was going to be my rig for the aerial video. And because of that, I really put a lot of time and effort and money into this. I'll show you in a second. And that's when I really learned how to hover, because I didn't really learn how to fly, but I learned how to hover really good, particularly tail in, because holding the heli stable was imperative if you're going to do video. But I got a lot. I also invested in a lot of help with that, and I'll show you that in a second. I used the 450 to try and teach me how to just become a better pilot all around, but I didn't have any intentions at the time of learning how to do 3D or anything. So anyways, long story short, I crashed the 450, so I probably actually still have that lying around somewhere. I never even fixed it, but aerial video thing didn't really pan out. So I was left with this heli, but I really do love this heli, and I hope to be able to fly it again. It still flies. I shouldn't say that like it doesn't fly. It still flies. I probably use it for sport flying. I just never really want to crash it. And at this point, I still definitely don't want to crash it, because I imagine that parts are a little harder to come by for this. Even though they're probably still kicking around somewhere. But you can see this is a little bit different than just standard. And when I say that, you'll see this additional tray that my local hobby shop actually helped me kind of build this and put this together. It's not like I really knew a ton about RC helis when I got it, but and which is the other thing. I need to go back and kind of revisit what I would need to do to set up a flybarred heli. Now, when I say that, this is set up. Like I said, it still flies, but I'd like to, tune it a little bit. It's been, some years since it was in regular use. But let me just show you a little bit what I have on it. This is, again, it's an Align. So basically, this kit, just like with pretty much all Align kits, came with everything. It was meaning that it came with the electronics and so on and so forth. I think I might have had to I think this was separate, this Castle ESC, but otherwise everything else came along with the gyro, came with the kit. So you can see there's a separate battery pack here for the electronics. There's a tray that goes in here this is a 12S setup. And the big add-on, which I added for the aerial video, and because I lacked any real flying skills, was this. This was brand new at the time, new technology, DJI Ace 1. I think they still, do sell this, but this was for helis. And this was a GPS stabilization system. I know there's other ones now out for, for helis. I think there's like H1 and then there's the Fly Wings out there and so on and so on. But this was, at the time, there was nothing else like this. And you can see here, right under here, this is the GPS module, and this is the gyro, and this is the radio that it's bound to, Spectrum Gen 1 DX8. And basically with this, you could you could basically fly hands-free. I think at the time it wasn't available, but I think with firmware upgrades, which I haven't done with this, but since then, but I'm pretty sure you could probably do waypoints with this, where literally just program some waypoints and it will fly itself, almost pretty much fully autonomous flying. So that was what I was going to use to be able to do the aerial video, and did actually I did do a couple jobs with it, but when I was doing that, I was chasing vibrations. There weren't really, there weren't a lot of